Once you start getting closer to your design verification test builds, you're going to want to pay close attention to the PCB material you have selected. The DVT boards are small production run boards, and sometimes they use a different stack up or a different material in the quick turn boards versus the production material. So you want to make sure that the PCB thickness and your stack profile are very similar, because your impedance of your grounded coplanar waveguide is relying on those tolerances to stay the same in order to be tuned properly to the proper impedance. You also want to make sure that when the solder mask is created, you get enough solder on the pads for the antenna to hold it to the board. Sometimes the solder mask openings are not wide enough and you don't get enough solder, or you don't get enough flow of the solder to hold the antenna down. You want to also verify that you're working with the final matching components and they're on your BOM, so that when you do go to the production runs, you're not caught on an old rev of tuning components. You also want to make sure that you have manufacturing instructions in place if you're using an FPC antenna, to show clear guidance on where and how to mount that flexible printed circuit to your housing. Also consider your test costs of the certifications for FCC or PTCRB or your carrier certifications. Those are going to be coming close to all of the, or 40% of the manufacturing costs in some cases. Verifying that your antenna is connected to your board is significant. It's pretty important to make sure that the antenna is making connection to your radio. You want to make sure that there's some way, a test jig or whatnot, to try to ensure that the antenna is making connection. Also, you want to, during drop tests, have a way to verify that the device is still working. Typically that's in a test jig, and you turn the transmitter on and make sure that the device is still transmitting. Moving to mass production is sometimes a stressful situation. Making sure that you've selected the right antenna for the product is critical in having a successful development and a successful launch. Surface mount antennas are cheaper for mass production, but if you're working with lower quantities, hand-assembled FPCs can work well for you. Using production processes such as locating pins or plastic carriers for FPCs can create designed-in repeatability during manufacturing. Using the correct antenna for production is not always a straightforward situation. Coming up more often as more companies outsource production, things like exotic materials and like laser direct structuring or LDS antennas can create stumbling blocks and extend the manufacturing process for certification. Anytime something goes wrong, you have to take a step back, and that adds delay.